Okay, hi Addy. Welcome to lesson number 61. Today's lesson is going to be super fun because we're going to talk about adding 3 or more fractions. There's really no limit to the amount of fractions that you can add together, but it does get a little bit more complicated when you add 3 or more because you still have to find those common denominators. So that's what this lesson is about. We're going to start adding 3 or more fractions. It's going to be great. Let's go over this comic and then we'll jump right in, okay? Alrighty. This comic, it looks like we've got maybe a detective, maybe this guy's a detective, and maybe this guy's a police officer. And it's a little hard to read because it's a little fuzzy, but it says, "Forgive me for stating the obvious, but something about this crime scene just doesn't add up." Maybe he's looking right there. Something doesn't add up, right? You might notice that right away too, huh? All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is your 72 multiplication and division facts. So get those out, and I'm going to pull out a timer. Whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to get my timer out, but first I'm going to put on a little bit of music. So we have a little bit of music to listen to while we do this. Okay, you have your 72 multiplication and division facts. On your mark, get set, go. Where's my music? Let's do... I feel like it's not playing music. Oh well, we're gonna forget the music, I guess. Okay, I'll start playing music on here. Keep going. That's about 2 minutes, a little more than that, but that's all right. You're doing great, Addy. Keep going. That's about 4 minutes now. About 30 more seconds. And stop. Okay, Addy. Good job. So now we are going to jump right back into the lesson, okay? All right, and the next part of the lesson is mental math. And here we're going to count up and down by 1/4 between 1/4 and 4. And I made a tiny little cheat sheet for me. I don't know if you can even see it. It's kind of invisible. It says 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. But remember, we're going to reduce the fractions as we go. So let's just try it. Here we go, okay? We're going to start with 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1, 1 and 1/4, 1 and 1/2, 1 and 3/4, 2, 2 and 1/4, 2 and 1/2, 2 and 3/4, 3, 3 and 1/4, 3 and 1/2, 3 and 3/4, 4. And now we're going to count down, okay? So we're going to go backwards, a little trickier. 4, 3 and 3/4, 3 and 1/2, 3 and 1/4, 3, 2 and 3/4, 2 and 1/2, 2 and 1/4, 2, 1 and 3/4, 1 and 1/2, 1 and 1/4, 1, 3/4, 1/2, 1/4. Okay, we did it. Woo, we made the count very happy, I'm sure. Okay, let's go over the rest of your mental math. And we're going to start out with A, which is 4 times 750. Apparently, I didn't put any cute little GIFs in here today, so I guess I'll have to draw you a cute little message as we go. B, we're going to do 283 plus 250. Write your answer. C is 750 minus 199. Write your answer. Okay, D is going to be $8.25 minus $2.50. And E, we're going to double 12 and a half. How do you double 12 and a half? Write your answer. F, what is 900 divided by 30? 900 divided by 30. G, this is a long one, okay? We're going to start out with 6 times 10. Start with that number. Now divide by 3. Multiply by 2. Divide by 4. Multiply by 5. Divide by 2. And multiply by 4. Alrighty, for problem solving, this one looks pretty fun. We are going to copy this problem down and fill in the missing digits. This looks pretty tricky. It's a really tall problem, kind of like a giraffe. Okay, so let's see. How would I figure that out? They don't give us a ton of numbers to go on, but they give us this 5 and they give us this 45. So how do you get a 45 here? Whatever answer you put in this space times 5 has to equal 45, right? And then we subtract it. So what times 5 is equal to 45? And then if you subtract this minus 45 and you get 1, what do you think is up here? You know, so do it step by step like that and see if you can figure it out, okay? And I'm going to move on to the new concept, so I'll let you pause it there. This little kitty cat is ready to move on, it looks like. And the new concept is we're going to be going over how to add 3 or more fractions. And remember I said there's no limit to how many fractions you can add. It's just that you have to find a common denominator for all the fractions being added. And once you find the common denominator, then you have to rename those fractions, and then the last thing that you do is add. And the best way to show you how to do this, Addy, is to just do it by example. So here we go. We're going to jump right in. We're going to add these 3 fractions. So we're going to add a half plus a fourth plus an eighth. So the first thing I'd notice is that they all have different denominators, which makes me not happy, because then I can't just add them. So the first thing I have to do is find a common denominator, which means I have to rename all of them. But that's okay. It's doable. We can do that. So let's start with the 1/2. Now, I want to find a denominator that is going to work for all of them. And the way to do that is to look at all these numbers, 2, 4, and 8, and find the LCM. Now, do you remember what the LCM is? The LCM is the least common multiple. And the way I find the least common multiple is I take the biggest number and I think, could 8 be the least common multiple? Does 2 go into 8 and does 4 go into 8? Yes, it does. So 8 could be the multiple. If 8 had not worked, I would double it and then try and do that one, see if that's the least common multiple. But it seems like 8 is going to work. So the least common multiple is going to be my common denominator. So how do I turn 1/2 into 8? I have to multiply it by a fraction. I have to multiply the same thing I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 2 times what is equal to 8? Well, I know that 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So I have to do the same thing to the top. And I have to multiply straight across, okay? So 1 times 4 is going to be 4. And I already did 2 times 4 is 8 because I figured that out. So this first fraction, instead of being 1/2, I'm going to make it be 4 over 8. Okay, what about the second fraction? Let's do the second fraction. So the second fraction is 1/4. So I'm talking about this one over here now. I have to change that into something that has that common denominator. So 4 times what is going to be equal to 8? And I know that it's 4 times 2. I have to do the same thing to the top that I do to the bottom. Now let's multiply straight across. 1 times 2 is 2. And I already did the bottom. 4 times 2 is 8. So this second fraction right here, 1/4, is the same as 2 over 8. Sweet. The last one already has that common denominator of 8, so I don't need to rename that one at all. I'm just going to get rid of some of this extra space. Okay, there we go. Now I have this all in a way that I can just add it. 4 8s plus 2 8s plus 1 8. And when they have common denominators like that, the answer is going to have a denominator of 8, and the top is going to be all the numerators added. 4, 5, 6, 7. So my answer is 7 over 8 Easy peasy, right? That was fun. Okay, we did it. Let's turn the page and do example number 2. Example number 2, you're ready for it? He's ready for it. Remember this guy? He's Doc from Back to the Future. All right, so Doc is ready. Let's see if you're ready. Ooh, this one is trickier because they're mixed fractions. Now, let's just pretend that they're not mixed fractions. And what we're going to do is we are going to just add the fraction part of it and the whole number part of it kind of separately. So let's look only at the fractions. I've got a 2 there, a 3 there, and a 6 there. So what's the least common multiple of 2 and 3 and 6? In other words, the LCM. The LCM is what's the lowest number that can be divided by all of these things. So it's got to be as high as 6. And it turns out it is 6 because I take this number, the highest one, 6, and I think, does 2 go into 6? Yes, it does. Does 3 go into 6? Yes, it does. So 6 can be the new denominator. I'm going to do it a little bit more like the book this time and write these a little differently. So this is going to be, let me make it a little fatter. I want some fat numbers here. Let's do 1 and 1/2. Now, I want to change that fraction into something over 6. Okay, so I'm going to multiply it by something to get 1 and something over 6. So what do I multiply 2 by? 2 times what to get 6? I'm just going to ignore that 1 for now. And it looks like if I multiply it by 3 over 3, that'll do it, right? Because I have to do the same thing to the top and the bottom. And then I'll have 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 3 is 3. So 1 and 3/6 is the same as 1 1/2. All right, now let's do this second number. Let's do it in blue. The second number is 2 1/3. So I'm going to write it fat, 2 1/3. Now I'm going to multiply that by something so that I get 2 and something over 6, because I want the common denominator to be 6. So let's just look at the fraction part. 3 times what number makes 6? And I know that 3 times 2 makes 6, so that means I have to multiply it by 2. I have to do the same thing to the top, and the top is 1 times 2 is going to be 2. So that means 2 2/6 is the same as 2 1/3. Yep, that's true. So 2 2/6. All right, so I did that one. Done. Now I'm going to look at this last number, which is 3 1/6. Now, 3 1/6 is already in the form that I like because it has a common denominator of 6. So I'm just going to write 3 1/6. Now I come over here to this part of the problem, and I want to add all of these together. So I've got 1 3/6 plus 2 2/6 plus 3 1/6. So how do I add it all together? First, I'm going to add the fractions. Now I know that the answer is going to be something over 6 because I worked really hard to get that common denominator. So it's going to be 3 plus 2, which is 5, plus 1, which is 6. Oh, that's interesting. So I've got a 6 over there, 6 over 6 there. Now let's add the whole numbers. The whole numbers are 1 and 2 and 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 6 and 6 over 6. Wow. Okay, so what is interesting about this is that 6 over 6, what is that fraction? That's the fraction of 1. So this is kind of like having a 6 plus a 1. And when you add 6 plus 1, the answer is going to be 7. So that's how you simplify this fraction. 6 and 6 over 6 is the same as 7. All right, and guess what? That is the end of the lesson. Whew, that was a good one. Look at this little crab. He's like, it's like, run, 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 run. Ooh, he almost got crushed by but luckily he made it. It's a happy day for the crab, and it's a happy day for us, okay? So have fun doing your math today, Addy. Love ya. Bye.